Hey guys, it's Calais and welcome back to my channel. And today we're going to be ranking the Bridgerton characters on how toxic they are. If you haven't seen Bridgerton, it's a Netflix original where basically if Gossip Girl and period pieces had a baby, that'd be it. There's love, there's drama, there's potentially murder, and a lot of steamy scenes to vitamin string quartet arrangements of songs such as Wildest Dreams and Thank You Next. So recently I found myself rewatching Bridgerton and it made me really realize how much of a love-hate relationship I have with a lot of those characters. So basically I wanted to go through and kind of rank the characters on how lovable, how hateable they are, versus kind of how wholesome they are, how toxic. Are they the best character that I've ever seen and I really, really love? Or were they a terrible person and lusted after a 5-year-old? And so if you haven't seen Bridgerton, I highly recommend going to watch it before viewing this video because there will be a lot of spoilers. I'll be talking a lot about some of the specifics the character does. So if you're interested, I highly recommend go checking it out and then coming back here after you finished it with all your thoughts. And so with that, let's get into it. All right, so we're starting off hot with the Queen herself. Now, I think the Queen was fine. You know, I don't think I really hated anything that she did, but she also wasn't exactly lovable. She was a little toxic in the fact that if she wasn't right, she was going to make it right. So, you know, I think she's fine. She's kind of neutral. I'll put her slightly toxic just because she's kind of a little bit of a control freak. Next up, we have the woman of the hour, Lady Whistledown. And you know what? I'm going to say it. I think she's kind of toxic. I love people who stir the pot as much as the next. But I feel like she kind of ruined a few lives with some of her things. Like, yes, she did expose a lot of, you know, good lies, which is good. But she also kind of, I don't know, fucked up Marina's chances to like live in the town. But yeah, I don't know. She stirs the pot, which I kind of like, so she's a little lovable. But like, I think she's a little toxic. I feel like airing people's dirty laundry is just a little bit bad. So she's going to go a little bit below the Queen. Next up, we have Cressida Cowper. And you know what? I kind of liked her. She did kind of threaten Daphne a little bit, but you know, she was honest with who she was. I appreciated it. I mean, also Daphne kind of stole her like future away, so I'd be a little bitter too. I don't know. I kind of appreciate a bitchy character, so I'll put her a little more lovable than the Queen. She is kind of toxic because she did semi-threaten to basically ruin Daphne and her family, but I don't know, man. It's a lot, so maybe she'll go right here. She'll be a little bit in between the Queen and Whistledown. All right. Next up, we have Colin Bridgerton, and I kind of really liked Colin. You know, he was a good guy. He like was nice to Penny. He was super sweet to Marina. He even said he'd marry her if she told him what her situation was. So you know what? I think he's really nice. I think he's lovable. I think he's pretty wholesome. He's a good guy. He's going up here. Next up, we have Genevieve Delacroix, who, you know what? I personally really, really like her. She basically is this like normal person pretending to be this French seamstress to basically hustle all these rich people. So you know what? I appreciate it. I applaud it. I don't think she's that wholesome, but I think she's pretty lovable for the fact that she's just, you know, she's out here hustling, out here tricking the rich people. So she's going over here. And next up we have Prince Frederick, who I really enjoy. You know what? He's a stand-up guy. He was willing to move there for Daphne. When Daphne said that she didn't want him, he respected her feelings. So you know what? I think he's great. I kind of think Daphne should have chosen him, you know, in my opinion, but whatever. He is a prince, so, you know, there's kind of that potential dirtiness that comes with, you know, being part of royalty. So I think he's pretty lovable. I think he's less wholesome than Colin, so we'll put him over here for now. Next up, we have potentially one of the most controversial characters in my friend group, Anthony Bridgerton. I don't like the guy. I just don't like the guy. One of my friends in his defense was saying that he was doing what he thought was right in his own mind. And I get that, but I also don't agree with it. Kind of sold Daphne off. He basically did his own thing, wouldn't listen to anybody. He also was incredibly bad to Sienna. I think she deserved a lot better. So, you know what? I don't think he's entirely hateable. I think he's frustrating. But I do think he's pretty toxic, so he's going down here. Next up, we got the bad bitch herself, Lady Danbury. I love her. She's great. She has like, what is it, a gambling ring for married ladies in the area. She also calls Simon out on his, you know, BS father issues, which I really appreciate. She's great. You know what? I love her. I think she's great. I think she's slightly wholesome because she does, again, call out people when they need to be called out. But yeah, she's great. I think she's pretty lovable. Next, there's Penelope, who, again, is also potentially a controversial character. I actually like Penelope. I think she was doing, her best. I personally don't think that she outed Marina. That's just my thoughts, but you know what? I think she's fine. I think people are giving her a lot more flack than she deserves. I don't think she's wholesome. I don't think she is. I think she's potentially slightly toxic, but I think she's a little lovable. She's cute. She's looking out for Colin. She's doing her own thing. So maybe she'll go like right there. I also apologize for the lines and the kind of shitty Photoshop that I'm doing. I'm still learning my way around Photoshop, and just kind of screen recording, so please excuse that. All right, next up we have another toxic individual, Lord Featherington. I mean, he's incompetent. He basically gambled away the house. He also kind of intimidated the Mondricks into breaking a fight, for his own gain. So I don't know, man. I think he's kind of pathetic. I think he's toxic for his gambling. I don't think he's exactly hateable because, I don't know, he's just pathetic. So he'll go up here. Get into main character territory. We have Daphne. Now, for those bangs themselves, I should just put her all the way at the end here at hateable. However, I think she's fine. She's doing her best. She's trying to get married, which is basically what society and her whole family has told her she needs to do for her entire life. She did kind of potentially sexually assault Simon a little bit by forcing him to, so that was kind of toxic. I was not really a fan of that. I don't think she's entirely that toxic. However, that thing in itself was really bad and not healthy, and you shouldn't do that. So I think she's gonna go here. She's kind of lovable. I don't hate her. She was kind of boring after she got married, but she's fine. But she's a little toxic with the baby craziness. And coming right behind her is Simon. He's kind of lovable. He does kind of care about Daphne in his own ways. So I think he's kind of lovable. He's also just hot. So, however, his daddy issues are a whole nother level. It's like he would rather watch the one person he cares about in his life go crazy and be miserable than give her the one thing she deserves because of this oath he made to his dead father. So I think he's kind of toxic. Also, the fact that he broke up with her to let her have the prince, but then came back. And I know it's true love and all, but I don't know, man. I think it's slightly toxic. So I think a little more lovable than Daphne. Potentially more toxic because of just the daddy issues, but they're pretty close. They're husband and wife, so they'll be close on the graph. Speaking of toxic, we have Simon's father himself, the Duke of Hastings. I don't think much needs to be said about this. He was a bad guy, didn't care about his son, didn't care about his wife, potentially got his wife killed. So yeah, it's pretty hateable, pretty toxic. He's going down in this corner. Next up, we have Henry Granville, who, if you don't remember, was the basically the gay artist. And you know what? I liked him. He was an artist. He was gay. That's 10 out of 10 in my book. He's doing his best. He loves his partner in a society that, kind of sucks for its time. So he's pretty, I don't think he's entirely wholesome. He's fine, but he's pretty lovable. So he's gonna go next to Genevieve. Moving straight back into toxicity, we have Lady Featherington herself. And I'm a little torn because I do think she was doing what she thought was right for Marina. The way the society was at that time, she figured that she was kind of doing her a favor a little bit. But at the same time, she also was incredibly rude to her, basically was trying to marry off her daughters for money. I don't know. I also didn't agree with a lot of the methods that she did, so I think she kind of sucks. I think she was slightly hateable. I'm not going to put her too much on the hate scale because, again, I do think she was on some level trying to help Marina, but she kind of was a shitty person about it. So, a little toxic. I don't think as toxic as her husband. Maybe right here. She's not as hateable, but she'll go right there. So speaking of Marina Thompson, we have her herself. And I'm on the fence on whether or not I like Marina. I think I really do. I think she was dealt a bad hand in life at a time where life kind of sucked for women. You know, she basically had to kind of figure out how to fend for herself, for her baby. And yeah, she did kind of try to trick Colin into marriage. But at the same time, she was just, again, trying to survive, trying to do her stuff. So I don't think she's hateable. I think she's kind of neutral on the term of hateable to lovable because I understand where she was coming from. I think she's slightly toxic because, well, I don't think she's wholesome. I think she's a good neutral because I feel like she was doing what she needed to do. And so I'll put her a little bit lovable because I don't particularly hate her. So she'll go right there. She was just, again, trying to do what was best for herself and her baby. Moving back to the Bridgertons, we have Lady Bridgerton, Violet. And I kind of liked her. I thought she was really cool. You know, she got Daphne out of her weird marriage with Nigel. She basically is running that entire family herself with her like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, 8 children. I think she's pretty lovable. My only qualm with her is that she is very kind to a lot of her children except for Anthony. Like, I think it's a little hypocritical to tell Daphne to marry for love. Meanwhile, you're trying to set up Anthony. I don't know, I'm saying Anthony is not from Queer Eye. Anthony with a bunch of other women just to kind of further the family line or something. So I think she's kind of wholesome. I think she's pretty cool. She's slightly toxic, so she'll go a little bit lower. But I think she's pretty nice. So I'll put her right there. For next up, we have Rose Nolan, who is Daphne's personal maid. And I really like Rose. I think she's cute. I think she's doing her best. When Daphne asks her, you know, honest questions about like how babies are made, Rose tells her straight up. She doesn't, you know, beat around the bush or try to protect her. She tells her, you know, what she needs to know. So I like her. You know, she's pretty cute. She's doing her best. I like her. She's pretty lovable and wholesome. I'll put her right there only because we didn't get to see too much of her. Moving back to the Featheringtons, we have Prudence and Philippa, who I'm gonna do together just because they basically are the same type of people. Again, they're boring. I don't think they're really lovable or hateable. They're kind of just like, meh. This is getting very busy, so they're gonna be smaller because they're boring. So they're gonna go here in the slightly toxic, but kind of, you know, meh type of area. So they're gonna go right there. Next up is the toxic man of the hour, Nigel Burbrook. And you know what? I hate this man. He's gross, he's pushy, he's forceful. He lusted after Daphne when she was 5 years old, which is really, really gross. He tried to do something with Daphne. He also had a kid with a maid, which I personally don't think that was consensual either. And then sent them away with like no money and nothing. So I don't know. This man sucks. I don't want to give him any more breath of my time. So, you know, I think he sucks even more than Simon's dad. So yeah, he's going straight at the bottom where he deserves. All right, we're in the final stretch now. So coming up is Benedict. I think Benedict's fine. You know, he's a little boring, but you know what? He's doing what he wants with his life. He's supportive of Eloise and what she wants to do, which I appreciate. So I think that's kind of wholesome. Again, he's kind of meh. I mean, we didn't really get to see much of him this season aside from like him having a threesome at that orgy party, which again, more power to him, but meh. But he does support Eloise and he seems like a good guy. So, you know, he'll go kind of wholesome over here. We'll put him right there next to Mommy Dearest. Next, we have a character that I think is actually really underrated, which is Lady Cowper. You know what? I like her. She is really cool. She was nice to Daphne in the gambling ring. She also potentially murdered her husband after having a fake heir with like the servant boy. You know what? More power to her. She's got a giant estate and all this money and this heir who's like a baby and can't take anything away from her or her daughters or whoever. She's a hustler. I appreciate it. She, I think, is slightly toxic, maybe because, I don't know, I think she was gossiping with some of the ladies, but you know what? I like her. I like her. I think she's gonna go here. She's gonna go pretty maybe meh on the toxicness, but pretty high in the lovable, only because I love a woman who murders. And now for the final Bridgerton, we're going to Eloise. And I do think I like Eloise. She's really cool. She's a different mind in a world that just does not allow women to do the stuff that they want to do. So I understand where her frustrations come from, and you know, I'll give her a break. She's frustrated. She doesn't want to get married. She's scared. She doesn't want to do it. She wants to be a writer. So you know what? I get it. I think she's pretty cool. I think she's maybe okay on the lovable scale. She is a little bit kind of rude sometimes to Daphne and Penelope in terms of them wanting to get married and stuff. Because like, I don't know, man, different people can have different interests. Just because you don't want to get married and your friends do, you don't have to shame them for it. But again, you know, she's dealing with a lot in a society that basically isn't allowing her to be who she wants to be. So she's gonna go, she'll go right above Mommy Dearest, only because she is nice to Daphne and encourages her to, like, you know, think aside from just being a bride. Now we have the best couple of the series, which is the Mondricks. I like them. They're really great. You know, they're making their way in the world. They're just trying to live a better life for themselves and their future family. So I think they're pretty wholesome. Again, we didn't really get to see much of them, so I think I'll put them on the medium lovable scale just because we don't know too much about them. So they're gonna go right there next to Colin. So I saved the best for last. My personal favorite character, Sienna. I love her. You know what? She's just trying her best, and you know, aren't we all? I think she's pretty lovable. You know, she's a great opera singer. She got recognized a little bit later in the series, and I really kind of hope in season 2 she gets to explore that a lot more, because I think she deserves better. And she also deserves a hell of a lot better than Anthony. In terms of like toxicity or wholesomeness, maybe she did make out with her ex-boyfriend while she was, you know, in the midst of starting a new relationship, but like, which of us haven't made bad decisions like that? So yeah, I love her. I think she's great. I also really appreciate the fact that she recognized what was good for her and what she deserved and how she didn't need to change for anybody. So you know what, for that, my personal favorite character, I'm putting her up here for wholesome. You don't have to settle for anything less than you deserve. You don't have to, you know, have somebody who wants you to change, somebody who is constantly putting you through a roller coaster of emotion, somebody who is just toxic. And I hate this man. I hate this man so much. I'm sorry. So there's my ranking of the Bridgerton characters, from, you know, how toxic they are to how lovable or hateable they are. I will say I am surprised as how few characters were in the hateable category. I think that kind of just shows how good the characters are, you know? Like, yeah, most of them make bad decisions or they do things that maybe aren't the right thing, but, you know, they're human, we're human, we all make mistakes. Except for you, Anthony. Still don't like you. Who were your favorite Bridgerton characters? Do you agree with my rankings? Do you have strong feelings on certain characters that you think I got completely wrong? If you do, please let me know in the comments. I always want to hear what other people think, and I love a good back and forth about which characters are the best and why Anthony sucks. But yeah, that'll do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to hit the like and the subscribe button. Again, I'm going to be posting more regularly, so if you want to see more videos from me, be sure to subscribe. And thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it, and it means a lot to me. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!